Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to another Monday Live. So, before we begin, I just want to mention a trigger warning, okay? For those individuals who have, I'm going to choose my words carefully, who have trauma in the past. I'm hoping that this video will actually help you break not just this lifetime trauma, but generational trauma, ancestral trauma, past life trauma. That's my intention. But I do have to say a trigger warning because we are going to be talking about trauma. Okay. And I also want to mention definitely not for kids. So if you tend to watch these around your children, maybe put some headphones on or just watch it at a different time. But yeah, just fair warning. This is not one of those videos for children. Okay. Yeah. So I want to actually begin with just kind of making a couple of statements. If you are someone, okay, if you are someone who has, and from what I know, I'm allowed to say the word sex on YouTube, so that should be fine. If you're someone who has a hard time orgasming, if you are someone who has a hard time opening up sexually, if you have a hard time trusting in relationships, if you are someone who has been in abusive relationships in the past, if you are someone who tends to rely on porn in order to orgasm, then, or if you're someone who is simply put just not interested in any sort of sex or, sexual expression or connection, then this video is for you because most likely based on all of these things that I mentioned, and if you just checked off all of the boxes, then this video is especially for you. This is, I don't know how I can put this. This is definitely one of my most important videos. Like this information in here that not everyone will be able to, I don't know if I want to say not everyone will be able to handle it, but I hope that by the end of the video, you understand why this video is so important, this information is so important. You understand how you've been affected by these events and agendas, and you also have tangible tools in order to be unaffected by what's happening. Because what I'm going to talk about today in this video is the absolute biggest, the biggest manipulation that we have ever undergone on planet Earth. And once again, by the end of the video, you should know why this is the biggest manipulation that we have ever undergone. Okay, and before I dive into the pretty heavy video, I'll just start off by saying, give this video a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share this video maybe to friends, family members who you know are struggling in these ways. This might be the thing that can actually help heal them and allow them to move forward, but also the information in this video is not for everyone. I don't know how else to stress that. We're going to be talking about reptilian agendas, and you kind of have to be in the know in order to think that I'm not batshit crazy. And you might still think that, but you're here, and that's all that matters. All right. Okay. So, oh yeah, a couple other things. I think it's Friday. I have a global meditation. I'm bringing together people, thousands of people, whoever can show up really, and I'm going to be guiding people through a live meditation, especially to heal Hawaii, the families of Hawaii, the land of Hawaii, the portal of Maui especially. And then we're also going to be doing a bit of healing for everyone else on the planet. There's a lot of fires going on. There's a lot of weather manipulation happening. There's just a lot of bullshit basically going on. And I would really like to bring people together and hold space and do some healing and clearing and all of that. So please join us. Totally free event. It's happening at 5:55 Eastern Standard Time, 2:55 Pacific Standard Time on August 31st. So please check that out. And if not, it will be posted. We might actually dual stream it to YouTube as well, because my Zoom room only can hold 1,000, and I think we're going to max out. So we're probably going to dual stream it to YouTube. And if you can't watch it, then you can always watch the replay and do the meditation with everyone, and you can still heal the planet that way. So it's just my way of bringing us together, giving back, and really focusing our really incredibly powerful intention on healing. And then just one little reminder, and then we're going to go into it. This week, until the 31st, actually, everything on my website is 22% off. So if you are interested in astral traveling or healing the grid or connecting to your psychic abilities or switching from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension, there are so many offerings on the site. Just really great nuggets of information. So check it out. This is a good time to buy. Most of my stuff is $11, sometimes $22, but you get 22% off of that. And it makes it really nice and affordable for everyone. So just keep that in mind. So let's go into it. We think that the shadow government controls us through weather manipulation, through fear tactics, through false flag events, through the opioid epidemic, and so many other things. And absolutely, we are absolutely being controlled by all of those different agendas as well, along with mass media and celebrities and even mainstream music, all aspects of manipulation and control. But the one thing that we do not talk about enough, and that's uncomfortable, to be honest, to talk about, but I'm ready and willing to talk about it, is sex. It's sex, and specifically it's orgasm. And you would never in a million years think that there's a giant reptilian agenda conspiracy surrounding sex, but there absolutely is. And this goes all the way back, actually quite far back in ancient human history, and we see it a lot with the Egyptian mystery schools and Tantra. And so I'm going to break this whole concept down for you, because once again, maybe you've never heard of anything like this before, but it is once again what I've channeled. It is the number one biggest manipulation that has gone on. If you are sitting there and you're thinking, I have a great sex life, I can orgasm no problem, I'm super open sexually, and everything's great there, fantastic, then this video probably isn't for you. But if you're one of the probably 80-90% of starseeds, individuals out there that feel like you're not as open, as free, with sex, with orgasms, with your own sexuality and expression that way, most likely you have been trapped within this reptilian agenda, within this manipulation. Okay, so the reason why sex has been manipulated throughout pretty much all of human history, and we're going to talk about this history, is because sex and orgasm specifically connects us directly to source frequency. Just let that sink in. Orgasm connects us to source frequency. It is sacred. It is our direct line to the universe. It really is. And unfortunately, there has been so much trauma, individually, collectively, and now with the porn industry, that I'm honestly very worried for these younger generations. I am extremely worried for these younger generations. because it's been so deeply manipulated. Okay. The reason why sex has been manipulated is to take us away from our natural connection to source frequency. To manipulate sex is to manipulate our ability to orgasm, which is bringing all of our earthly energy up straight through the crown chakra, connected directly to source. An ancient practice would be called Tantra meditation. Tantra isn't totally about sex, but it's about raising your vibration. And anyway, it's like a whole other thing. Okay. So the powers that be, let's just say it like it is, the reptilians that are out there, okay, on planet Earth. And I've said it before, not all reptilians are bad. I have to say it, right? Like, I don't want to just come down on one species, because if we were to look at, say human beings and say, there's a couple of bad apples and they're all bad, it's not the case. However, a lot of the reptilians on planet Earth are not so great. Not the case for everyone, but a lot of them are. And they are truly the ones who are in charge. And then there's many other species around, and I'm not going to name names, but who are also kind of part of the manipulation. So they know this. The reptilian beings absolutely know that orgasm is a direct connection to source. Think about it. Each one of us as human beings we have a calling card to source. And as weird as it sounds, it is through orgasm. And like I mentioned with Tantra is a version of meditation that we don't even have to have any sort of physical stimulation to raise our frequency, bring it up, and connect it to source. We can connect to source just simply through meditation, through breath work. It doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to feel dirty. It's actually so sacred. And if it does feel awkward or dirty, once again, it's because of the programming, right? So they know this. The shadow government, the reptilians, the powers that be, they know that sex and orgasm is this connection. And I compare it to if everyone had plant medicine, if everyone had an opportunity to try plant medicine once in their life, what is that going to do? That's going to dismantle religions. That's going to dismantle old beliefs. That's going to open up our minds. It's going to connect us to source. It's going to reinvigorate the cellular structure of our body. It's going to keep us young. Anytime we ever get a connection, a direct connection to source frequency, we cleanse our body, we cleanse our soul. And once again, this is what I believe orgasm is. It's a cleansing, it's a healing, it's a connection that once again has been manipulated. Okay? Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's DNA activating. Exactly. So this is essentially what I've channeled throughout ancient human history about what has happened and why it's happened. And I just wrote some notes down, so bear with me. So reptilians decided to manipulate sex / the connection to source from the beginning of humanity. Like from the beginning of when the reptilians started to interact with us, they knew that they didn't want us to have a direct line or a direct connection. So there's other ways of them manipulating this, and I'll mention kind of two main ones. One is they really started to promote things like brothels, like trafficking, like blood and sex rituals, which is what they exclusively do. And all of these things create trauma. Okay? So through things like trafficking, brothels, rituals, even just the downfall of the masculine-feminine dynamic, right? And being in just abusive relationships. Okay, there's a lot of trauma, and we're talking about sexual trauma that is created. All right. Now the other, now this trauma is carried on through lifetimes, through many lifetimes, and many of us feel unsafe when it comes to sex. We just feel unsafe. It's hard to open up to a partner if we don't feel safe, and if you don't feel safe, then how can you ever have an orgasm if you're not feeling safe? If you're not present in the moment, feeling safe, feeling open, it's just not going to happen. Your connection to source through orgasm, through, say, even Tantra, it's going to be tainted. All right? And this is where I was shocked when I was, I don't even know, I mean, quite young, maybe around 20, when I learned that a lot of women, I don't want to say most women, but a lot of women can't orgasm. That was shocking. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's enough. It's enough that, you know, just listening to someone not being able to get to that point is like, wow, you're missing out on something. And it's not even just a pleasure thing, okay? It's not. And so I've practiced Tantra in this lifetime and actually many other lifetimes. And it's just this incredibly powerful connection that cannot be replicated in any other sort of way. So I want to bring up this concept of a prison planet. And you've probably heard it before, but I'm going to just mention it in the way that I've channeled it. Now, at the beginning of my questioning and opening and understanding about everything that's going on planet Earth, I heard this term a lot, prison planet. We're on a prison planet. It's a prison planet specifically because we have karma. And it didn't sit right with me. It's almost like part of it resonated and part of it didn't. So when I finally was able to channel this information of, are we on a prison planet? Are we the only ones who have karma? Is karma holding us back? Do we basically leave this body, go into the afterlife? We're stuck, we get recycled, reincarnated, and we're trapped and we can't get out of that loop. And here's the information that came through. The information that came through is that in a sense, there is an entrapment, okay, on planet Earth. But it's not every single soul that gets incarnated here gets trapped. That's just not the case, okay? What really is happening is that when we come to planet Earth as like an intergalactic cosmic soul, and we incarnate as a human being on planet Earth, there are a certain, how do I say this? There's a certain amount of trauma that can happen to us as human beings on planet Earth that simply cannot be replicated in other planets and other dimensions and other places in the universe. And very specifically, the number one trauma that happens to us as starseeds, as souls, and a lot of starseeds get specifically targeted in past lifetimes and abused, okay, in a sexual way, to manipulate this, and then we're forced to reincarnate back here to replay out the very similar situations in order for us to clear that karma and be able to move forward. So essentially, it's not that everyone who comes here is trapped in a prison planet. It's more or less the fact that there's so much manipulation happening here in such a very specific frequency that you cannot play out that karma anywhere else in the universe. You are forced to come back to planet Earth to replay that very specific frequency in order to heal the trauma that was created here. And what I have channeled is that it's sexual. It is the manipulation of the most pure thing that we can experience as human beings. Is Tantra. Is connection to source. That right there has been manipulated. And on top of that, as it's being manipulated through generational trauma, through lifetimes of trauma, through shutting down our natural, or really our only natural connection to pure source, other than meditation and breath work and Tantra, as I mentioned. But on top of that, a lot of reptilians feed off of orgasm energy. It sounds gross and creepy, and it absolutely is. And in a lot of abusive relationships, what's the one thing that relationship has going for them? Great sex. Most likely because that person, that other person, the abuser in the relationship, is probably some sort of shapeshifter, and they're feeding off of that energy, that orgasm energy. Once again, sounds creepy, but this is what I've observed time and time and time again. Okay? Doesn't mean that every abusive relationship is synonymous with reptilians, absolutely not. But the very fact that this is a prison planet comes down to sexual trauma in a very specific frequency that we have to come back and replay. And that's why SA, I'm not going to say the words because I'm going to be banned, but SA specifically has been played out in many, many, many starseeds. Like, if I were to be able to do some sort of like quiz or like a study and observe people or ask a bunch of people a lot of questions, I bet you anything that SA, especially in childhood, is directly related to a starseed being an old soul. A lot of the time, our purity as these galactic souls with a mission gets completely skewed and manipulated so that we no longer feel safe. If you don't feel safe with a partner because abuse has happened, then how can you feel safe with a neighbor, with a friend, with a family member? You can't. So it's not just about orgasm and our direct connection to source, naturally, as a right that we all have, but it's also our feeling of trust and safety that has been and continues to be completely manipulated. And now, luckily in our lifetime, I'm hoping that we see things like trafficking eradicated. Let's hope and let's be a part of that change. But unfortunately, we have some very dark aspects of the internet. And I have talked about porn openly before in other videos. And if you want to see some of those videos, some of them are on YouTube, which are incredibly powerful videos, sex and porn, and some of them are on my website. So please check those out if you want to. If you're like, yes, this resonates, I want a deep dive. I've talked about this before in very, very important ways in other angles. Okay, but unfortunately, like I don't know, the statistics on porn are insane. Okay, it's like I don't know. I don't want to say it's like the number one most searched thing, but the internet is mainly used for that, which is, I mean, it's really sad. It's really sad because there's an externalization of the trauma and also of something that we are trying to reclaim and heal. And I think that that's what, and I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it, but that's what P is for. I'm going to call it P. That's what P is for. This is externalization, replaying the trauma, trying to heal the trauma, and not being able to be present, right? And so I wanted to come on and just kind of bring all of this up. It's like definitely a very kind of weird reptilian alien angle on sex. I know it sounds pretty crazy, but please hear me out when I say this, that we need to be talking about this more often. This is a really big issue, especially in these younger generations. And let's face it, in our generation, in the older generations, the trauma is there. It's there in a lot of people. If you're one of those people that is not affected by any sort of tainting or issues or lack of safety in sex, congratulations. You're a very small percentage, okay, of the majority. We need to start healing this. Okay, so how do we heal this? All right. Okay, I have an affirmation for you. If you feel like you need to heal this part of yourself, I have this affirmation, and I have a couple of other suggestions as well. Here's the affirmation, and I'll repeat it twice. I release any and all contracts which hold me back from true sexual freedom. I'm going to repeat that. I release any and all contracts which hold me back from true sexual freedom. You deserve that. We all deserve to have sex and talk about sex in a free way, and experience orgasm in a way that we can really be present and aligned and even reverberated if we so desire and wanted to experience onking and all of that great stuff. It's there for us, okay? You deserve that. The other things that I recommend is do the work, okay? A lot of this stuff is trauma work. Even if you're like, I've never experienced any sort of, once again, I'm going to say SA in this lifetime, but I feel blocked, it's going to be from past lifetimes. So uncover stuff, talk about it. Don't leave this feeling of not feeling safe. Don't leave all of that in the shadows. Don't just not touch it and think that you're going to have a terrible sex life in this lifetime. And it's not about overdoing it either, right? It's about really authentically connecting to your physical vessel and allowing yourself to get to a place where you're so safe that you can let go of any and all ego, identity, physical aspects, and fully make that spiritual connection, okay? Once again, through orgasm or tantra, if you so desire. You deserve that. So please do the work, do the shadow work, talk about it, get a therapist. Okay, do a cord cutting letter, release anyone in your past who has ever affected you in a negative way sexually. Forgive them, let them go, and also make a statement that you're ready to move forward. You're ready to heal this. You're ready to, once again, reconnect with the universe in this way. It is our right to have this connection, and it has been so incredibly manipulated. I also want to mention one more thing before I go, that even just hearing this, even if you think that I am absolutely out of my mind, batshit crazy to think that, reptilian beings are manipulating sex and that's how they help us stay away from source, and disconnect from source. If you think that's absolutely crazy, just hearing this, just having your soul show up and hear this, is actually already helping you do the work. It's already shifting those layers off of you just by hearing this, whether you believe in it or not. Okay? So I want to say thank you for showing up to a video like this that can be uncomfortable, that can be awkward, because we need to talk about this. And even though this isn't really my thing to talk about, I have a very strong passion to talk about it, to heal it, and to make sure that these younger generations are going into their sex life in a non-shameful, in an open and free and responsible and present and conscious way, to bring back something that is so truly sacred to us. That's my desire. That's my hope for the next generation, is that we really reclaim the divinity of sex. Okay, that's it. Please join me for the Global Healing event happening this Friday on the 31st. And other than that, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my other videos on porn, sex, reptilians, if this is something that you're interested in. I really do kind of deep dive, unpack, and explain it all. I even have a video that has an incredible reach on trafficking that I highly recommend you check out. This is my background. This is kind of where I come from, is just observing these things and wanting to heal them at such a deeply authentic level. So sending you guys all so much love. Thank you for showing up for this. Keep up the good work. And as always, I will see you in the 5th dimension frequency. Bye for now.